Hey everybody, it's Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. I'm so happy to be with you today. I am bringing you another video and I am so excited about this card. I can't even tell you. I have been using the Seize the Day bundle all week and I'm in love with it. I can't believe I waited this long to use it. I wish that I had started using it like in January. I know it wasn't really the season for beach, but oh my gosh, I love it so much and it has made the best cards. If you have not seen all my videos, go back, check out my playlist of all the Seize the Day videos because you will love them. I have had the best time making these cards. And today I'm bringing you a fun fold. It is Fun Fold Friday. And this is an easel card, but not only is it an easel card, but it is a shaker as well. So you have kind of two-in-one, or a hybrid, like I like to call it when I combine two fun folds together. And so the easel card just sits really nicely like that. It props up, lifts up and props up. There's the back. And it's a nice thing to have on their desk for somebody that you want to thank or do a birthday card for or whatever. And that's what the inside looks like. You have that cute little crab. I thought that this background stamp was perfect for it. It's called Dry Brush. And I wanted it to be kind of like a wood look. So the Dry Brush achieves that. This little die cut right here, if you do not have the Tasteful Labels dies, and they are still available because they are on last chance. I'm not sure if they'll be available when this video publishes. I'm hoping that they will be. This one right here. But I love this die set because there's so many different kinds of labels on here. It just makes the best layouts, and it adds such different, like just different shapes to your project. So definitely get that if you don't have one. And of course, I use the layering circles all the time. It is what I made the porthole with, so definitely check out the layering circles. And like I said, we've used the Dry Brush for the stamp for the background, and then Seize the Day, which is a bundle. If you buy them together, you save 10%, so it is worth getting the bundle. Every little bit helps, right? So definitely check out this awesome bundle. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to move my card over here to the corner and we're going to get started. So the base of our card is a piece of gray granite. Gray granite is kind of like a brown gray color, and I think it's really beautiful. So we are using that today. It is 5.5 by 8.5. And I am scoring it down the middle at 4 1/4. I'm actually burnishing it. All right. So I just want to make sure I have all my measurements for you guys. All right, so that's 5.5 by 8.5. We fold that in half, and now we're going to do a little cutting, okay? So I'm going to show you how we're going to cut this piece. So I'm going to grab my paper trimmer, and we'll put it in the camera here. Hopefully I'm making sure that I'm in the camera so I can see, or you can see. And we're going to cut 1 1/4 inch pieces from each side, but we're going to stop at this score mark. So the cool thing about our paper trimmer is that it has markings on both sides. It has the 1 1/4 on this side, and it has up to 1.5 inches. So the 1 1/4 can fit on this side. So I'm going to start on this side, and I'm going to put it, here's the 1 inch, and there's 1 1/4. So I'm going to place it at the 1 1/4. And once I have it lined up nicely, this is the score blade. We don't need that. We're going to cut. So we're going to cut from this darker blade cut. So we're going to cut from there to this score mark, which I can see very well. It's going to be at the 4 1/4 inch mark. So we're going to go ahead and come up. And on the side of this blade, you can see there's a line. And it will stop you. Well, it doesn't stop you, but it will show you where to stop. So you're going to stop at the 4 1/4 or right when you hit that score mark. Now, we're going to open and we're going to slide this one and we're going to do this side. So we're going to do 1 1/4 right there. Drop it down. Do the same thing. Bring my blade up and I'm going to stop again at the 4 1/4 inch mark or right when I hit that score mark. So now I have these little flaps kind of like arms. Okay, so those are what I need to make our little card. Okay, so let's get this trimmer out of the way. We don't need it anymore because all my other pieces, well, we may need it for one more thing, but most of my pieces are ready. So When we make this card, you see I have a couple layers. I have some mint macaron, which is the green, and then this is crumb cake, and that crumb cake piece is going to be cut. But right now, I'm gonna go ahead and start with the inside of our card. So I have a piece of basic white cardstock that is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And that is what's gonna go right here on the inside of our card. So we're gonna go ahead and just glue that down. So I'm gonna use my tape runner. I like to use my seal adhesive. We're gonna go ahead and add that all the way around the edges here. And then this goes to the bottom of our card. So we're gonna just place that so that it's even like that. Now we're gonna glue these 2 flaps down on both sides. And to glue those flaps, I am gonna use, I guess I'll just use the tape runner. I was gonna use the wet adhesive, but I'm just gonna use the tape runner. So we're just gonna put a few strips there. And we're just gonna make sure that the corners lined up really well and that's pressed in place. I usually use my wet adhesive because it's just so strong and I love it, but I just didn't feel like messing with it. I'll use it later when I do our mint macaron layer. So we're gonna go ahead and put that corner together and press down. Use my bone folder. Okay, so that is our card. So this is our main flap of our card. You can see right here. So I need to score this flap because it needs to bend. See how it's bent right there? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bend it towards the score mark. I'm just gonna bring it in. I'm gonna hold it right there against that score mark. And I'm gonna burnish. Now that is our bent piece. That's what's gonna hold our main piece up. So let's go ahead and do our background. We're going to do that dry brush background. It's such a pretty background, and we're going to use our Stamparatus to get that ink up on there. So let's go ahead and grab our Stamparatus. Here we are. And that snoring is my Yorkie. It is not me, obviously. I'm talking. She hangs out with me in here, and she's always sleeping. So she is 13. She'll be 14 in December, so I can't really blame her, right? I mean, gosh, she deserves to sleep. So I'm going to ink this up just like that. And it is a little larger than a 1/4 sheet of our cardstock, which is good because it gives us a nice surface. We're going to ink up the dry brush. So now I'm going to place this piece, and I kind of have marked right here in the corners, you know, where I want that to fall. So I'm just going ahead and place it so that it will fall within my stamped area. And I'm just going to go ahead and bring that down over my cardstock, and I'm going to press. I like to use sometimes this part of my arm and really press down. And I'm just going to really be careful. Yeah, that's looking good. I think I need just a little bit more pressure on that one side, and then we're good. The nice thing about the Stamparatus is if you need to add a little more ink because you don't get it good, you can lift it, ink it, and it goes right back in that same spot. So to clean this off, I'm going to grab my chamois, and I like to just pull it. I keep it in a stamp case, so I'm going to actually move this out of the way, and I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to lay it flat. It makes it a lot easier, and I'm just going to bring my chamois to my background stamp, and I'm just going to rub it just like a rag and clean it. For those of you who don't know how to clean your background stamps, now you know. Now if it's a dark color, now crumb cake is not so dark, but if it's a dark color, if it's a red, I do like to blot it with a piece of scrap paper first and get most of the ink off before I do that. That way my hands don't get completely covered in ink. But anyway, that's what I've used here. So let me actually, I don't want to wet this bottom section, so I'm going to put it backwards. All right, and I'm going to lay that out of the way. So now we have our really cool piece here, and we are going to trim it. We're going to cut it into pieces. So our crumb cake that has been stamped, we need 2 pieces that are 1 inch by 4 inch. I'm pretty sure it's already 4 inches. I think I trimmed it down. I did. So it's already 4 inches. So we need 2 1-inch pieces. So let's get one from this side. Whoops. Let me move this up. I hope you guys can see. This is my little guillotine cutter. And this was a promotion that I got when I signed up to be a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. So I'm going to have that one on that side. I'm going to rotate it around so I get the other end. We're going to do another 1 inch. So those will be 1 inch by 4 inch. You need 2 of those. So there's that one. And now with this middle section, we need a piece that's 2 3/4 of an inch by 4. So we still want the 4 inch. We're going to make it 2 and then 3/4. That's 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. All right. So that's going to be our middle panel. Now for the inside, I have a piece. This little piece that was left, I wanted to use it on the inside, and I'm going to show you how I do that. I lay it across here, and then I'm just going to snip it, or I'm going to mark it and snip it, but we'll do that in a minute. So I'm just going to set that one off to the side, but I am going to use it. And as this ink dries, it will lighten just like you see here. So we're going to go ahead and attach all of our layers onto our card. So we have our 2 pieces of mint macaron. These are 1 1/8 inch by 4 1/8 inch. Those are going to go there. So let's grab our silicone mat. And like I said, I am going to use the wet glue for these. I just really like how strong it is and that it covers a large surface with just a little bit of adhesive. So we're going to put that one here. And we're going to leave that little border of that gray granite. And let's put our glue on this piece. I almost said ink. I hope you guys are having a great day today. I'm trying to decide what I'm going to use next week for our video. I haven't decided what stem set I'm going to use next, so I have to, if you guys have any suggestions, put them in the comments of stuff you'd like to see. Now we're going to glue our 1 inch by 4 inch that we cut off of our piece of crumb cake that we had inked. We're going to put this one on this side. And this one's also going to form a little border all the way around, just like that. Isn't that cute? And then we'll do this one. All right, now when we get to the center section, I'm not going to glue that down quite yet. I am going to glue it to my grain piece, but I'm not going to glue it down quite onto my card until I've done my middle section. So we're going to go ahead and set this aside for right now. Oh, let's go ahead and do this bottom piece while I have it out. So I'm going to lay it across. It's definitely going to butt right against that white piece there. And I think I'm going to get rid of most of this dark part. So let's go ahead and put it like so. And then I'm just going to run my fingernail right along that piece so I can see it. And then we're going to put it in the trimmer. And we're going to straighten that out. Get rid of that little extra piece, but this one will get glued inside. No waste, or very little anyway, of that piece of cardstock. So let's go ahead and attach that in right here. I think it looks really good in there. It just gives it that extra little reinforcement. That looks pretty awesome, right? All right, so let's do a little stamping. So we're going to glue these 2 pieces together, and then we're going to do a little stamping. We're going to stamp our pieces for the inside. I'm going to show you my fishies. We're going to stamp the porthole that we're making. All right, so I'm gluing this piece right onto the top of my mint macaron. And at the very end, I will give you all the dimensions. But there is that piece. I'm going to set that to the side for right now. We're actually going to use it, and when it gets attached, it's just going to get attached to this bottom folded piece, just like that, and that's what's going to form our easel, okay? So we're going to form and put everything on this piece, so I'm just going to put these 2 pieces off to the side. I'm going to bring this back in so that you guys can see. We're going to build our little porthole here. So I have used the circle dies. And I'm going to grab them so that I can show you which ones. All right. So I've chosen to do this one right here, this size circle. Actually, I think it's this one. Yes, this one. And then I needed a white one, and it's one down. And then when I did this ring, I used two of them, okay? I used the same size as the white, and then I did 1, 2 in, so it's the next smaller size down. See how it has that gap? That's what gave me that wide porthole. So I used these 2 in a row right here, and that gave me that wide gap. So you have to decide which ones you want to use, but that's what forms my little porthole, and then this is the back. So those are the circles that we used. I also took my scrap here and I put a piece of window sheet and I drew onto the window sheet with a marker, and then I just kind of roughly sketched around it. But before I glue that in, I'm going to go ahead and stamp on this piece. So I do need to grab a scrap paper. I do keep those right here in front of me. So I'm just going to grab one. Goodness, I can't grab, it won't slide out. Here we go. I got it. All right, so we're going to use that, and we are going to use our same ink color, and we're going to use this seagrass. And that is what is going to be stamped on the porthole, but it gives it kind of an aged look. I really like that on there, and I'm also going to do it on the back. All right, so that seagrass is what's giving us that look. Now on the inside, I'm going to use mint macaron, so I don't need that one right now. I'm going to go ahead and close our crumb cake, which is the same color. We're going to go ahead and clean that so that I don't stick my hand on it. Now I have done all the other stamping, except we're going to do the seagrass one more time in mint macaron. And it's going to go on the white piece. I just wanted to have some seagrass in the background of my porthole. I'm going to close the card so you can see. Back behind the fish there, you see that green? That's the mint macaron. So I'm going to move these pieces out of the way. I'm going to bring that in, and we will ink up. And I'm going to add to this side here, oops, a little bit of seagrass. And then we're going to use some bubbles. So I'm going to use the Balmy Blue. I'm going to grab my bubble stamp here. And we're going to add bubbles in the background. Coming up. All right, so there's our bubbles. That's in our Balmy Blue. I used the Balmy Blue for my fish. I also used Blushing Bride, and then I used Crumb Cake to do my, here's my 2 fish, to do my starfish and my crab. Those are in Crumb Cake. Now I did cut a piece of seagrass in Crumb Cake, and that's going to get glued right here. I just have to do that, but I do want to stamp my word thanks. And I'm not going to use the actual ink pad to do that, because I'm going to show you the stamps that I'm using to stamp that real quick. Let me just clean these and get them out of the way. So we're using a sentiment that is rather large. It says, thanks from the depths of my heart. Well, I only want the word thanks. So in order to just get the word thanks, I'm going to use my marker, and it is the same marker. It's a Stampin' Right marker, and it is the same color as this ink right here. So I'm just going to run the brush tip over the word thanks, and that's the only one I want to ink up. So I'm just going to be careful when I get close to the other word. And I'm just really going to run that marker, ink it up really well onto my stamp. And then I'm going to huff on it, just like you're blowing air when it's winter time and you want to see your breath. That's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go, and then I'm going to bring that here over the top, and I'm going to stamp it to the right-hand side here of this label. So there's my word thanks. Now, if you don't get it as dark as you want, you can use the other side. It is a pointy tip, and then you can darken the spots that maybe you want a little bit darker. Just run that over the top of your words and darken that up just slightly, just by following the artist's marks. Just use a really light hand. You can always add more, but you can't take away. So you don't want to get it too much, right? So there we go. I darkened it up a little bit. I'm going to just darken just this one spot. There we go. So that Stampin' Write marker, they come, this is from the Subtles. So you can get it in a pack of 10 of all the subtle colors. I'm going to go ahead and clean my stamp. All right, that's all the stamping we're going to be doing. So we're going to make this cute little porthole now. All right. So let's go ahead and glue our grass, our crumb cake, into our background. And then I'm also going to glue my window sheet over the front, that ring that I made with the 2 dies. So I'm going to put this up here near the top like that. I want to make sure it's all the way in. Good. And I do want to make sure that it's completely attached, that my glue is on all of it. There we go. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to put that off to the side for right now. And we're going to glue, here's our ring. I'm going to put this adhesive around. And then I'm going to glue that window sheet. Oops, to that adhesive. It's a little staticky. Make sure that it doesn't stick out and that it grabs on that glue. Just going to press lightly. All right, so there is my porthole window sheet. So that's going to go next. That's the top. So now what I'm going to do is on this piece, I am going to adhere these things called foam adhesive strips. And as you can see, I absolutely love them. I use them all the time. And they're perfect for shaker cards. So when you get them, they come in a sheet like this. You see all these strips? They're individual strips. But I'm still have a little bit left on this one and I want to use them all up. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this one that's already started. And I'm going to work my way around slowly. And I don't want it to stick out, so I'm just going to curve it as I go along. And I'm just going to put it around the ring, which is why I made sure that I had enough width when I did my ring here, that it would make it around and that this piece wouldn't stick out. Okay, so we're almost to the end and we are overlapping. So I'm going to just bring in my paper snips. And I'm going to angle cut this piece to match that one. I'm going to try my best anyway. So I just cut that little piece off and then they meet right there. And I'm just going to push them together as best I can and press them down. And then I'm going to push it along this whole piece and make sure that it really adheres good. So that forms my little porthole. Okay. I still have a couple pieces left on the edges, so I will be using that at another time. I am going to go ahead and slip them in here and put them away. Try and keep them stuck there if I can. All right. So definitely check out these foam adhesive sheets. I will link them in the description below. All right. Hopefully I haven't made quite a mess here. I do tend to move my stuff around a little when I'm working. All right, so we're going to build our scene in the background. So we want our little fishies to be popped up. So I'm going to use dimensionals. So I'm going to grab 2 dimensionals. I'm going to put just right here on the backs of our fish. And this is going to get glued flat. This is going to actually be popped up. So I'm going to put 2 dimensionals on the back of my crab while I have him out and ready. And then I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this little tasteful label. So I'm just going to do 3 of those. I want it to be a really good support there. So that's it for dimensionals. The next step is we're going to put our fishes inside of our little aquarium scene. So I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool. We're going to pull the backs off. And we're going to add them. The pink one is swimming from this side. And I want to make sure that his tail is in. Remember, you're going to have this adhesive, and I don't want it to push down on his tail. So he needs to be far enough over so that there's room for that to go around. So we're going to put him there, and then let's put the blue one swimming from this side. Right there, kind of underneath the pink fish. Just like that. Isn't that cute? So let's go ahead and peel the backs off now. So we're going to peel this off. And there is our little ring of adhesive. Isn't it neat how this foam adhesive can be shaped into a circle? And I am using some retired sequins. So this is what I say. Whenever you can find sequins, if you like to do shaker cards, whenever you can find sequins, either on clearance or when they're clearing it out or when it's in the main catalog, get some, and definitely do not get rid of it if it goes away, because my gosh, look at all these gorgeous colors, and it's perfect for shaker cards. And sometimes you need lots of colors, so it's something that you kind of want to grab and stash away for when it's time to use it. So I'm gonna make sure I have enough of these little sequins in here. I'm gonna put just a hair more, and these are called let me see, woven thread sequence assortment. I thought they went really well, the colors for the sea, and that's why I chose those. I have a little one stuck static to my finger. Did it go? I guess I dropped it. Okay, so woven thread sequins, they're just from my stash. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that there's no sequins on the edge, that they're all tucked in so that it's not going to stick and keep this from sealing. So I just want to push it in, and I want to make sure that they're on either side of the fishes and that they're not sticking out too far. So we're going to just line this up. Remember, this circle is the same size. This gray ring is the same size as our white circle in the background. Okay, so there it is. And if anything is sticking out, you can trim it. So this is the time to do that. So I'm just going to work my way around, and I'm going to follow the line that my foam strip is on. And I'm just going to trim that piece of basic white cardstock that I stamped. I'm just going to make sure that it's nice and trimmed away so that all you can see is the foam. Okay. So that's basically what I trimmed off. And now I'm going to shake my little fish around and get my sequence where I want it to live. Oh, I just love these shakers. They're so cute. All right. So now this is going to get attached onto the circle. But first, what we're going to do is put it onto the circle onto our card right here that we have glued together. So let's go ahead and put some adhesive on the back. I'm going to use, again, the wet glue. We're almost in the home stretch, guys. Look at how easy this was. All right. So I'm going to take my circle and I'm going to attach it. Excuse me. A little hoarse. I'm going to grab a little bit of water. I guess I was talking too much. All right, so I'm adding that to the background. And then I'm also going to put some wet adhesive on the back of the white circle that I trimmed away. And I really love this adhesive. It's super strong. So your shaker card is going to be awesome. All right, and we're going to get our little fishies again, and we're going to center that, and that's why I like using the wet glue, so that it forms a little porthole. I just want to make sure that I have, you know, all an even amount all the way around. I'm going to give it a nice press. Now, we're going to put adhesive on this bottom part of the card, remember, but we don't want it all the way to the edge because a little bit of gray granite is going to show. So we want to leave ourselves a little border and then fill in the middle here. Okay. And then we're going to press this down and we're going to attach it so that you have that little pocket of the gray granite showing all the way around, and you're just going to hold it in place until it grabs really well there. All right. Now, let's go ahead and pull the backs off of our thanks label that we did with our tasteful labels, and we're going to attach that right down here, centered underneath the porthole. And then we're going to put just some adhesive in the center of our starfish. I love this little starfish. It's so cute, isn't it? We'll put it right there next to the thanks. And then on the inside, we're going to stamp. It says, from the depths of our heart. Now we're going to use the same stamp, thanks, from the depths of our heart. Now what I'm going to do now for this is I'm going to still use the marker, only this time I'm going to make sure that I don't get the word thanks and I get everything below it. From the depths of my heart. And I just have to be careful when I do that word from so that I don't touch that thanks. But you can see here, you don't have to be quite as careful on the bottom. Definitely ink it so you get plenty of ink on there. And then when you get here near the top, just be a little bit more gentle. When you go side to side, it's a little bit more forgiving. And then we're going to go down here and get this bottom. So it says thanks on the outside, and then it says from the depths of my heart on the inside. So we're going to put that right about, well, let's put the crab in there first, and then we'll know where we want it. So I'm going to pull, oh, that's why I use my take your pick tool, because see, I got carried away. I'm so excited about this cute card. We'll put the crab right there, and then we'll huff on that, and then I'm going to bring it down, guys, because I can't see really well, and I definitely want to be able to stamp it in a good spot. So I'm going to put that right above the crab, from the depths of my heart. That turned out awesome. And then we're going to go ahead and prop that up like that. I'm going to clean up a little bit, and then we're going to put the bling on top, because that's the best part. I mean, not only do we have this cute shaker bling, but we're going to put these awesome brushed metallic dots. So I'm just going to clean up. I'm going to clean that stamp before I stick my finger in it. All right, and I'm going to get this silicone mat out of the way. All right, so we're going to attach now these brushed metallic backed dots. Now, I really like this brassy color rather than the bright gold or the rose gold, because I just thought it blended in really well with the crumb cake color that we used on this brushed dry brush background. So we're going to use 3 of these. We're going to use a large one. We'll put that one over here. I'm going to put it kind of in this spot where there's, you know, not so much, so it really will, you know, pop. And then we're going to put one of these down here near the things, maybe over here. Maybe, yeah, I think I like this area right here where it's kind of open, so it'll pop really well. And then we're going to add another small one, maybe in this spot right here where you can see it. So those are those. Oh my gosh, this looks so great. I'm so happy with this. Really happy. I think it looks awesome. This is a really fun card. I love doing easel cards. I love doing shaker cards. So this is like the best of both worlds. You get a little bit of each, right? You get the easel, you get the shaker, you combine them together. I'm going to go ahead and put this one up. Actually, I'll lay that one down and I'll put the original one up. Again, we use Seize the Day, the C dies. This is part of the bundle. You can purchase those together. We used our layering circles. We used our Tasteful Labels dies. And don't forget about the beautiful dry brush stamp set. We use the metallic back dots. So let me give you some dimensions again. We're going to start from the beginning because I don't want you guys to miss out. So my base card of gray granite was 5.5 by 8.5. I folded it in half and I scored it at 4 1/4. Then I cut 1 1/4 inches on either side on that one panel. Then I cut 2 pieces of mint macron. They were 1 1/8 by 4 1/8 inches for the 2 side panels that we glued flat down. The white piece on the inside was 4 by 5 1/4. And then the dry brush was a piece that was 4 inches by 5 1/4, and then we trimmed it down. So we trimmed these two pieces to 1 inch by 4 inch, both of those. And this middle section, the mint macaron piece, was 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. And the dry brush piece, we cut it to 2 3/4 by 4, and then that got glued on top. I used scraps of gray granite to do my porthole for the 3 circles, and then I used scrap of white to do my fish and for my background stamp. Also for this is a scrap of mint macaron. And I hope that that should be all the dimensions there. So I hope that you've enjoyed watching me put this together. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so that you get notifications of when I post new videos. I also would appreciate it if you would give me a thumbs up, comment, share my video with others. It really helps me to bring you more content. And if you don't mind checking out my online store, if you do not have a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. If you need to talk about that, I'd be happy to do that with you. Just hit me up on any of my social medias. All of those are linked below. Also, all the links to all the products I used are linked in the description below as well. I do blog every day, so check out inkyhandswarmhearts.com, where you can see lots of content, and definitely check out my videos. If you haven't seen the rest of the Seize the Day videos, definitely check out my playlist that I have of the entire Seize the Day. And I appreciate you guys being here with me. You don't even know how grateful I am to have you. I really enjoy making the videos for you, so thanks for being a part of my channel. Thanks for watching. This is Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. Happy stamping, guys!